Earlier we learned how to use the cumsum function to find the cumulative sum of functions, or matrices rather. Now what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to undo a cumsum. As of right now, I don't think there is a built-in function that you can use to undo cumsum, but there's a different way of doing it using the diff function. So we'll do an example problem, and I guess that's how we'll do this. So the general format for diff function is just do diff, and then you put matrix name inside of it, and what it will do is it will give you the difference of, I guess it will give you a difference between of elements in a column. So for instance, we see that for this matrix A, B is the cumsum of columns of A. So if I run this, B should give you 2, then 10. So 8 plus 2 is 10, so it will give you 10 right here. Then 2 plus 8 plus 3, so 10 plus 3 is 13, so it will give you 13 right here. Then you have 13 plus 5, so that's 18, so you should get 18 right here. Then 26, 18 plus 8 is 26, so forth. And it does the same for all those columns. So B is the cumsum of all those columns. Now what the diff function will do is if you say diff B, what this will do is it will give you the difference between preceding elements in a column. So it will give you 10 minus 2, so it's 8. It will give you 13 minus 10, and then it will give you 18 minus 13, and then it will give you 26 minus 18, and it will do that for all of these columns right here. So if I type diff B, you will see that you get this matrix right here, and if you compare it to the original matrix right here, A, you see that these two are identical. So I guess that's our goal for this video, is to retrieve the matrix A from both B and then C. So we see that this is pretty identical, except that we're missing the first row. So the way we can solve that is we can make a new matrix out of it. So we'll make a new matrix, new B we'll call it, and then we'll assign it, the first thing we'll assign it is we'll go to the matrix B. We see that the first row of matrix B is the same as the first row of matrix A. So if you want to get matrix A back from matrix B, the first thing we'll do here is we'll take the first row of matrix B and assign it to new B. So once you have that, you'll put a semicolon to tell MATLAB to go to the next line, and then we'll use the diff function to retrieve the rest of the matrix. So if I run this, let me clear this out, we'll see that new B is identical in terms of elements to A. So you see, we get 2652 for the first row, 2652 for the first row, 8135, 8135, and then I'm assuming the rest are consistent too. So this is how you would retrieve matrix A from matrix B. Now, what would you do if instead of the columns, instead of the cumsum of the columns, it was the cumsum of all rows going across from left to right? What would you do then? So what you would do in that case is you would, let me hide this too so we can see. Now we see that this is what we're getting. Now we'll declare a new variable, new C. This time we see that our first column is identical to column of A, so we'll keep that column. So we'll say C, all the columns of the first row, all the rows of the first column. We'll keep that, we'll put a comma, and then we'll add to it diff. Now here's where you have to be really careful. You have to put diff c, but if you do diff c, it's not going to be. It will try and give you the difference between each elements in a column. So we'll temporarily invert the matrix. We'll invert the matrix, so it will change this entire thing into instead of 5 by 4, a 4 by 5 matrix, and then it will take the difference of columns now. And then once you have that, what it will technically be doing is it will be taking the difference of rows, but since we inverted it's columns, and then you invert it back to get to your original matrix. So if I do this right here, okay, so if I do diff C prime, you see that I'm going to put this in a comment. You see that you get this right here. And then if I do this, you see that you get this remaining 5 by 3 matrix. So you get this 5 by 3 matrix from doing this right here. So this is why you do this. So if I run this, you will see that you get the original matrix back. So that's how we retrieve A from C. I think there's another way of doing it, but it's a bit more complicated. So I think it's easier just to stick with this method. So thank you for watching. See you next time.